Yeah, just a quick review. Australian Dream Arthritis Pain Relief Cream. So what is it for? I mean, why would you consider using this product? Well, it's for pain relief. Specifically, it's for arthritic pain. For instance, if you have like knee arthritis, you might want to consider giving this a try. So what's exactly in it? I mean, how does this stuff work? Well, anytime you're considering using something like this, you need to really look at one thing. Not the reviews, although it's good to look at those too. It's the active ingredients. What are the active ingredients in the product that you want to use? So what exactly is an active ingredient? Well, it's any ingredient that has a direct biological effect or pharmacological activity in the body. So in other words, these are ingredients that are really going to do the heavy lifting in the product. These are the ones that are really going to make the most difference. Not that there aren't other things that might help you, but these are really the main ingredients that are, that are really potent and really get the job done. So in the case of the Australian Dream, the main active ingredient is histamine hydrochloride. Dihydrochloride. You can say that 3 times. So histamine dihydrochloride is really the main active ingredient in this. So what exactly is that? Well, it's a topical analgesic. Analgesic means it gets rid of pain. Now, it's not really fully understood how this histamine dihydrochloride really works. But one theory is that once you put the cream on, once it's absorbed, the blood vessels kind of expand at the site where you put it. And this blood circulation boost contributes to the pain relief. So that's kind of like the going theory out there, although I don't think they really know for sure. So anyway, but the big question is, so do you get permanent relief if you put this stuff on, or just get temporary relief? Well, I would say it just kind of depends. I think there are cases, like say with back pain, sometimes you get, you have pain in your back, your muscles spasm, then that creates more pain. So you get this pain, spasm, pain cycle. So I think if you break that up, like say you use this Australian Dream, and it gets the pain down or eliminates it, and you do that a couple times, it just kind of breaks this pain, spasm, pain cycle. And then you're able to get, your body kind of resets itself and it gets out of that cycle, and then you're back to normal. So I think there are cases where this stuff would work. But I think most of the time if you have, like really bad arthritis or a really bad pain problem, it kind of takes a multi-pronged, multi-treatment approach really to get better. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you have knee arthritis, okay? You can't really do much with your knee, you can't walk on it a lot, got lots of mileage on your knee, let's face it, we're not 18 anymore, we're not getting any younger. So what do? Well, you can't really do much. But we do know, hey, if you could do exercise, for instance, that actually, making the muscle stronger, more flexible, you increase the function of your knee, the pain will get better, okay? So exercise is like a proven treatment for arthritis. So what you do is, you can't really do much now because your knee hurts, but you put on the Australian Dream, you get the pain down so you can do exercises. So, for instance, this is a neat little program here, Bulletproof Your Knee by Jim Johnson PT. It's a program that takes actually less than 10 minutes a day, and some days it's actually less than that. It's all based on scientific evidence and peer-reviewed journals. Well, articles from peer-reviewed journals. But it's all taken from like randomized controlled trials, and it's very research-based. But the big thing is it really takes less than like 10 minutes a day to do. So even if you're not really into exercise, it's a good little program. To give you a quick example, it has like these little, I'll say tune-ups, So the whole thing is aimed at increasing the function of your knee. So the theory is if you increase, pain is the result of something not functioning properly. And if you go ahead and you increase the function, then the pain goes away. So it's not even all about your knee, for instance. Knee arthritis is not really all about the status of your cartilage. I'll give you a good example. Did a study one time where they took a bunch of people, they x-rayed their knees, they graded their knees 1 through 4 with arthritis, that's how they commonly grade it, and then they looked at other things, like how depressed were they, how anxious were they, what was their knee range of motion, how strong were their knee muscles, those kind of things. So they looked at all those variables, and then they sat back and they said, hey, let's see out of this group of people, now that we know all these things about them, can we tell who has pain and who doesn't? Well, looking at just the x-rays, they couldn't really predict who has pain or not, okay? And that actually goes along with the scientific literature, because there's a big discordance between the big discrepancy, if you want to say, between what your knee looks like on an x-ray and how bad you're hurting. In other words, there've been lots of studies where they've looked at people with knee arthritis, and they grade their pain, and they can't really tell who hurts the most. You would think that people with grade 3 or 4 knee arthritis would hurt the most, but they don't. And that's because there's actually people walking around with grade 3 or 4 osteoarthritis, which is like bone on bone, the grade 4, that have no knee pain. So there's people that have bad arthritis and no knee pain, so you really can't predict much. Now, how could they tell if somebody was having knee pain or not? Well, they got looking at other things like, how well was their knee moving? How strong are their quadriceps muscles? Then you could tell based upon how strong their quads were, who was having the most pain. So there's other things like, so function is really what it's all about. As I mentioned, the quadriceps muscle, probably just about any knee problem you can name. I could probably show you a study showing that your quads have probably taken a hit. They might be smaller than normal, not as strong as they're supposed to be. This is a big muscle on the top of your leg that really stabilizes your knee joint. And for some reason, if you have a lot of knee pain, in some cases it can even like shut the quads down if you have a lot of swelling in the joint. So this gives you good exercise to get that working again. Fine-tune control over your knee. Hey, sometimes the problem is because there's hip muscles that aren't working very well. I know, like with iliotibial band syndrome, a lot of runners get that. The problem really isn't, your quadriceps necessarily, although they're probably not as strong, but they also have weak hip abductors. And so there's actually some randomized controlled trials showing that if they strengthen the hip abductors, then the pain goes away. You don't have iliotibial band syndrome anymore. So basically, this is taking care of that stuff. Optimize knee flexibility. Well, in this book, it'll show you, hey, you think your knee just bends and straightens? Well, it actually, about the last 10 or 15 degrees of you straightening your knee, it actually rotates out a little bit. So that's another accessory motion you have to have. So you get some exercises for that. Increase dynamic knee stability. Here we're talking about proprioception. Doing some research now where they're showing that people with, like, say, knee arthritis have decreased proprioception. That's your position sense. So you actually are losing part of that with arthritis. Anyway, this just tunes up all the functions of your knee. But the whole point being, you can't do them now, but if you put this stuff on, get the pain down, then you can do these exercises. After a week or two, your function gets better. Then you can start getting more permanent pain relief. So yeah, good product, definitely. Check it out.